What's up, guys? So I want to share a weird story time because I've been just thinking about this during my workout. I didn't listen to music today, which is very rare because the music, it really pumps me up during my workout. And so this is just gonna be a raw YouTube video. I'm not gonna edit anything. I'm just gonna post it just as a landmark or a checkpoint in my journey. I was watching a YouTube video yesterday. Actually, no, before that. Yesterday, it was Black Friday, right? And I was cleaning my room after we went out to shopping, right? The whole day we went to shopping from like 9 a.m. to, and we had McDonald's in the morning, which I only got a caramel macchiato. And we went to Best Buy. We went to like this turtle cameras, like with all these camera equipment for my mom to see what lens she wants. And then we went to, what else did we go? We went to eat. We went to eat out. A lot of places were closed, so we went to eat to Panda Express. And then I got, double teriyaki and vegetables. And then we went to IKEA. And then because I want to actually reorganize my room and see how I can make it a little bit different and in a neater way, obviously, because I'm trying to get out a lot of junk. And this is when the story starts. When we came back from Black Friday, we met back home, and I had a lot of inspiration from going around IKEA, just looking around all the rooms and seeing what can I do for my room, because I have a very small room and I'm living with my brother, so it's quite difficult now because he's growing up and we kind of need our own space sometimes. But we're sharing a room right now, and I'm trying to keep him in mind as I'm trying to reorganize this room to see how I can make it different, how we can make it cleaner, because I find it very, very beneficial when it's clean. Everything's clean, and sometimes he comes in and tours it up, but I find it best when I have a clean room, I have a nice space, and I can have a clear mind. And I was looking through my closet, and there was like these blankets, right? And it's from my childhood. Blankets from my childhood when I was like 7 to 15 years old max, for a lot of years, honestly. I felt this weird detachment. I was like, okay, am I gonna really need these blankets? Not really. Do I want to save it? Yeah, it's part of my childhood, and I had this like little connection to it. It was a weird feeling. I had this weird connection, and I was like, I decided to just donate it, right? I put it in a plastic bag, and I want to donate it. But before I put it in the plastic bag, I felt this like I was like breaking up with someone. It was like detachment, this weird detachment feeling when I put the blankets in the bag, and it felt a little weird, right? It was like I was saying goodbye to a family member who has been part of my life for a long time, or like they were moving or something. But it was just my blankets. It was my blankets, right? And coincidentally, or not, there was this video that popped up, my recommended, on YouTube that said, this video will find you once your old self is about to die. And I found it really, really, really coincidental. Really coincidental. And maybe it was not. Who knows? But it was like I was letting go a part of myself when I was putting those blankets back in the bag. And then this video was talking about, this video will find you when your old self dies. You can't program, your goals with the way you were performing before. Your old self was doing their best that they can with the level of consciousness that they had just to get you to where you are now. They were solving problems to get you to where you are now, but they're not going to solve the problems to where you want to go in the future. And so by definition, you have to cut them off. And this is not a whole different person that we're talking about. This is you. You have to cut off this version of yourself that has gotten you to where you are right now, which you're going to be grateful for, right? I'm grateful for the person that I was, to get me to where I am now. Was there some things that I could have changed? Sure. But they're not going to get me to where I want to go, There's levels to this. When you move up levels, the old weapons that you had to slay off the little monster and the little monsters or whatever are not going to be the same weapons that you're going to go and slay the Ender Dragon, And this is a weird Minecraft reference, so bear with me. I'm just trying to drive and say this at the same time. The same weapons, the wooden weapons, the stone weapons that you get from, and this is ironically, it's probably the old me saying this as an analogy to give you guys a better understanding with Minecraft. It's just off the top of my head. The weapons that you have to, you know, slay off the zombies, the creepers, the the skeletons, you know, you're gonna probably need better weapons to slay off the Ender Dragon, right? As the simplest analogy that I can give. And so, but what's hard is that you are detaching from a person that you cared about so much, right? We care about ourselves a lot, and it's kind of in a selfish way that we want to make sure we look out for ourselves more than others, that it's super hard to let go of this person, you know, of yourself, the old version of you. And so when I was like putting my blankets away, it felt, I don't know why, it felt like I was detaching from which I am, from my past self, like as if they were dying. And the sad part is, you know, but the most beautiful part is that they do have to die for your new self to program itself. You know, you can't have two things and occupy the same space. I forgot where I got that from. As a man thinketh, but I felt like I heard it in a different book though. I'm not sure. Maybe another video. Two objects cannot occupy the same space. You can either choose one or the other. And so if I'm trying to go after my goals, which I've been trying to for a while, I can't have the programming of my old self because that will interfere. I have to have a new set of beliefs, have a new set of tasks, you know, new set of people around me, new set of, I already said beliefs. But you get the point. I have to program myself to have this new identity to go after to the future version I want to be. And so there's this in between that people fight, the middle that people have, you know, when you're detaching from your old friends because you know more than them, you're more conscious aware than them, but you're not good enough to be friends with the people that, you know, are going after your goals because, you know, they're probably accomplishing things, they're probably more aware of their circle, and little you comes along, or little me, and I'm trying to, you know, fight myself, and my old self is like tugging me, you know, come back to what's familiar, come back to playing video games, come back to, you know, doing degenerate stuff. And I've been noticing I've had a mix of habits of both, you know, more of the good ones, you know, but completely I have to cut off the old version of myself, you know. Even the blankets, as small as the blankets, bro, as small as like having a little childish, you know, not like in a bad way, but like the childhood stuff or energy that you have in your room, like the blankets, maybe some toys that you have, maybe some pictures, maybe some frames on the wall of like baby pictures or whatever you have in your space, all that energy still serves to my older self, you know. And my mom and my dad, you know, they love to go to McDonald's, and don't get me wrong, McDonald's is pretty good, you know, not health wise, but you know, if I had to eat it and you had to force me to eat it or else I'll die, I'll eat it. It's fine. It's pretty good, don't get me wrong. The McGriddles, the sausage egg McGriddles, you know, and the caramel macchiato I tried yesterday, it was pretty fire. But health wise, I know I can't have that, you know. I don't want to have it anyways. I like Whole Foods better. But I find my parents still trying to serve or offer me things like as if I'm still 15 years old, you know. Or do you want anything from McDonald's? Do you want this cookie? Here, have this chocolate bar. Like, it would make me happy, you know, because that's what made my younger self happy. But as I'm trying to transform into this new version, those same things are not going to serve my goals, you know. You get what I'm saying? Like, my parents don't see that I have to kill off my old self, and they want me to keep coming back to who they know, which who they know is my 15-year-old self who loves McDonald's, who loves just, you know, just running around doing activities and soccer and all these different things. They're afraid to let that version go of me. That version of me, they're afraid to let go. They're super afraid because it's what's familiar to them. This new version I'm trying to transform into is not familiar. They don't know what exactly my vision is. They're actually kind of worried about me. And I don't blame them, you know, because I'm also worried too. I'm concerned. I'm like, shit, look at all this fog in the way. I was just talking about this morning. The future is like fog. You can barely see everything. Like, people don't make that first step because they want to clear the fog and they want to see what exactly is down the road. But you have to focus on what's right in front of you only, because that's all you can see. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. Just focus on what's in front of you, because that's what you can control, you know? And if, you know, whatever obstacle comes out the way, just do your best to navigate through it, right? And so I've been living in this like in-between middle where I want to let go, but I'm too scared to let go of my past self. And my parents, they want me to be familiar to them by making me, you know, attached to the old beliefs that I had. You know, that, you know, I was a child and I had all these beliefs. I had all these, you know, cravings for food and all these cravings for video games and attention. And it's just they just want me to keep being like that. As I'm talking to you guys right now, I'm noticing, I'm realizing a connection in real time right now. Like, I didn't have any script for this. I was just talking just out the brain. But now, as I'm talking to you guys and I'm unraveling it, I'm having better clarity of what's happening. So if you're in that middle and you're too afraid, you know, to let go of your past self, I understand that. I understand. I'm in the middle of it right now. It's scary, right? You don't see through the fog and you want to know for sure the certain outcome of like, oh, I want to make sure that I'm going the right way. You don't know unless you're going the right way until you actually get there, right? And that might not make any sense, but like what I'm trying to say is, if you have to go on the road through the fog to see, okay, is this the right way, right? And there's going to be signs around, you know, stop signs, like merging lanes, and, you know, all these different things that are going to be patterns, right? You'll notice patterns to see if you're going the right way or not. And I don't want to get you guys too confused, but what I'm trying to say is that, you know, that in between that middle is going to be so uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Uncomfortable, but necessary. Uncomfortable, but necessary. I want to ingrain that in my head so much, because there's sometimes where I get uncomfortable and I run back to my old habits. You know, when I'm about to transform into this new version, my old habits, they tug me back to where I was. They tug me back to the old version of me, to what's familiar, right? And I find that happening more often than not. And, you know, I need to work on that and come back on that and just realize that, okay, this discomfort I'm feeling, don't run back to my old habits. Embrace it. Embrace this discomfort. Embrace the hard times. Embrace the situation. So I think that's pretty much it. I just want to keep it brief. Just want to share with you guys what I'm going to do now and how I'm going to struggle through this. You know, every time it gets uncomfortable, I think I'm to myself, good. This is good, right? That means slowly, little by little, the old version of me is dying. It's a mindset thing, right? People face the same hard situations, but why do people get better outcomes than others? Because it's the mindset that they have approaching that hard situation. Everyone has a different approach. Everyone has very similar problems, but everyone has a different approach. And how you approach things can play a big role to greatness and to failure. So my approach is going to be, don't fall into temptations based off what the old version of you is thinking. Don't fall into temptations of too much junk food. Say no if you have to. Saying no and getting uncomfortable when saying no means that your old version is dying. When you say no to hang out with your friends because you know that you're going to overeat on not vacation, but when you go out, say no. And if it feels uncomfortable, that's good. That's great, because that means the old version of you is dying. If I had to say no to food when my mom wants to feed me something, fine, that's good, because that means the old version of me is dying. And that's not trying to be mean. That's just me trying to reprogram my beliefs in myself. And whoever wants to get used to it can get used to it. If people are uncomfortable, then they don't have to get used to it, you know. And it hurts when it's family, because you live with each other and you're so close. But when it's friends or friends, you know, it's easier. But when family, it's a little bit harder, because it's like they're not going to recognize you anymore. But good, as long as it's a decision that your future version will make, That's all that matters, right? And that's not selfish. That's just you prioritizing yourself. We must prioritize ourselves, because when we prioritize ourselves, we actually help out others around us. By becoming the best version of ourselves, we help others around us to give that positive energy back. It just takes a while for that future version of you to start to, how do you call it? Reciprocate and give that energy back. You know, it might be like 2 years where you suffer and you're uncomfortable, and then your mom or your dad start to see, okay, now I see who you're trying to become, and then you start to give back. That's my goal. I want to make sure I have the version of myself. I'm forming the version of myself, even if I don't see the outcome right now. 1 to 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, I want to be able to have give back, and then my parents will understand. You know, my friends will probably understand. You know, people will understand now. Okay, that's what he was trying to do. You know, I mean, they may not understand right now, and that's the uncomfortable part. You know, it's because you want to just jump into the future, and you know, you just want to jump into the future and just have the results so that you can like be like, look, this is what I was trying to do. You know, but in the moment, you don't have the proof. You don't have any evidence, you know, and that's the difficult part. You just don't have the evidence. So I just want to make that video brief before I let you guys go, as I'm pulling up, you know, to my house soon. Hope you resonated with this. If you did, I'm glad. I think this is a really good video, because I just got a lot of emotion out there, and I hope you guys resonated with that. And if you want any more videos, depending on whatever topics, let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.